Our practice this morning is, I've been describing it as like not obvious heart opening. So we'll be moving through shapes to create more space in order to open our hearts. And some of that is side bending, some of that is shoulder opening a little bit, but to open our heart spaces. I had a weekend that felt really energetically straining, maybe. And I hadn't had a physical response to stress like that in a long time. And I know oftentimes when we feel like there's some emotional turbulence going on in our lives, there's this tendency to close off, to protect ourselves, to kind of contract because we feel like we have to hold on to whatever energy reserves we have left. But when we close off and when we contract, it's like we turn off that valve and we can't receive new energy either, right? We might not be giving energy out, but really we are putting a ton of energy into that blockade, and that blockade prevents us from filling our cups back up. And so though the maybe natural inclination might be to constrict and to protect out of fear, or just to try to find whatever safety you can, what would happen if we took the more vulnerable approach and challenged ourselves to stay open, to keep our hearts open, and to trust in that. And that was the birthplace of this flow, is me needing my heart to remain open this week. And so we'll start on the back body in Shavasana. We'll move from there. And of course, if you prefer beginning your practice in Child's Pose or in a seated meditation, you're welcome to begin wherever feels best for your body. We'll just start in a little bit of breath work and breath connection. So take your time to settle in, to close your eyes if that feels safe. And then feel the weight of your body completely release into that support beneath you. And when life requires us to take a pause and check in, we get to use this pause as an opportunity to pay attention to if we're reacting or if we're responding. And that pause is our chance to shift from reaction to a mindful response. From the reactionary closing off, shutting down, to the conscious choice to stay open. And so as you breathe here, feeling every inhale maybe as that opening energy. And feel every slow and steady exhale as a release, an opportunity to let go. So we breathe in and we open our hearts. And as we breathe out, we allow ourselves to let go. And breathing in to feel that welcoming energy at our heart space. Breathing out, we give ourselves permission, right, to release, because holding on isn't serving us or anyone around us. And in this last moment before we start to move into our bodies a little bit more, we begin to add the movement to our morning. Consider what it is that you'd like to welcome back into your heart. what you're welcoming back into your life, what you're calling forward within yourself. And think about your exhale as whatever it is that you are choosing to release away. You're choosing to surrender and set aside. And with that, we'll take one deep breath in through the nose, fill your lungs all the way to the top. And whenever you're ready, a clearing exhale to release. Let your whole breath empty all the way out. And then as you start to breathe again, let the breath move through your nose. Ujjayi pranayama. And eventually find your way into a full body stretch. You're going to reach your hands up and overhead. Allow the length from your fingers and your feet to be that first experience of side body opening and length for today. And then eventually gather both your knees into your chest. And as you hug your thighs in close, allow this hug into your heart space to be like a commitment to yourself on your yoga mat. That reminder to honor your truth as you travel through your flow today. Okay. Go ahead and let both knees tip over to the left into a gentle twist. And as your knees stack to the left, maybe take your gaze over to the right. And a really slow breath in along your right side. A slow breath out. Just one more like that, a slow and steady inhale. And a slow and steady exhale. And then bring both knees back to center. Nice and slow. And eventually just tip your knees over to the right into your gentle twist second side. So nice and simple switch. We'll breathe into your left side body. And then with your exhale, maybe drop a little bit deeper into that rotation. And take one more breath here. And slow breath out. And then this time when we come back through center, you're going to keep your knees bent, then place your feet down to the earth to set up for your bridge pose. Okay, so with your heels stuck right beneath your knees, feet about hips distance apart, begin to press down through your feet and guide your tailbone forward and up to the backs of your knees to lift your hips. So think tailbone leads the way. And as you find that length through your low back, right? Feel your front body also lengthen out. So feel your sternum reach towards the wall behind the crown of your head. Feel your knees extend forward to the wall in front of your yoga mat. And then imagine your hip points and your tailbone could also reach forward. And your rib cage moves back. So you create all this extension, all this expanse, the front and back body. And then as you press down through your feet, encourage your seat creases, kind of like the base of your booty cheek, forward. And feel your hamstrings and your glutes light up a little bit. And press down to the backs of your arms. Maybe tuck your shoulder blades a little bit closer together. And give yourself one more slow cycle of breath here. So the energy, a little bit of sensation begin to light up through your lower body, the openness through your heart, and then take your time to gently release all the way down to the earth. And as your hips land, just take a moment to pause. That sensation wash through. Then go ahead and send both legs up to the sky, a little softness in your knees, and flex through your heels. Okay, From here, you can just place your hands beside you on the earth, palms face down. We're gonna inhale, slowly lower your legs down towards your low point. So this could be a low diagonal, this could be a hover. Just make sure your low back stays anchored on the earth. And on your exhale, pull your knees in towards your body. Navel to spine, and then push your feet up to the sky with an inhale. I will take that 2 more times. So exhale, start to lower your legs, and then pull your knees into your body using the strength of your core. And push your feet up to the sky, big breath in. And one more time like that, slow motion, lower your legs towards your low point. Find resistance against yourself as you slowly pull your knees in. So you have to add that resistance in yourself. And then push your feet up to the sky. We're going to take out the bend now. So slowly inhale, lower your legs towards your hover, your low point. And your knees can be bent, especially if that helps your low back. On your exhale, navel to spine, lift both legs up to the sky. And we'll take that 2 more times. So inhale, legs lower. Again, you're only going so low as your low back feels healthy. Navel pulls in. And on your exhale, legs lift up tall. Starting to create some heat in the center of the body. Last one, let your inhale lower your legs down. Find your low point, your challenge point. And see how slow and controlled you can lift your legs back up. Pull your navel down, legs lift to the sky. And then release and relax, pull your knees into your chest. And just a simple core connection this morning, nothing too fancy. We're gonna make our way up to tabletop pose next. So start to rock and roll forward and back until you eventually find your way up to all fours. With your shoulders over your wrists and your hips over your knees. Go ahead and inhale to your cow shape, lift your heart, lift your tail. And on your exhalation, curl into your cat spine, round it out. Let your head drop heavy and really spread your shoulder blades wide across the back of your heart. Then inhale to your cow shape, heart and tailbone lift. And keep your cow shape, and on your exhale, rinse back a little bit. So reach back with your sits bones, and then rinse forward a little bit. So just shifting forward and back within your cow spine. And then shift into your cat spine and do the same thing. So as you round your spine, rinse forward and back. Really spread your shoulder blades wide, feel that stretch around your scapula, your shoulder blade. And then find a neutral spine as you're ready. Walk your hands forward and dive your heart all the way down to the earth. Okay, Anahatasana, hips high, heart low, breathe into the back of your heart. And from here, push the earth away. Take your time to walk back into your tabletop pose. And then go ahead and tuck your toes and just find your way up and back to downward facing dog. Send your hips to the sky. Your head and your heart melt down towards the earth. And then maybe pedal your feet and check in with your hamstrings. Just giving yourself this moment to arrive into your practice a little bit more completely. To check in and see how your body feels in this moment as you breathe deeply. Then take your time, walk forward to the top of your yoga mat into your forward fold. Then give your knees generous bend so that your upper body can just rest to your lower body. Okay, feel your chest rest onto your thighs. And as you release the weight of your head, invite your tailbone up towards the ceiling. Okay, from here, go ahead and inhale to a halfway lift, lengthen out from your crown to your tail, extend. On your exhale, forward fold, release right back down. And inhale, we'll rise all the way to stand. Urdhva Hastasana, reach up towards the ceiling. And at the top, grab onto your right wrist and pull over to the left for a side body stretch. So left hand grabs your right wrist and pulls your upper body over to the left. Use a full inhale to lift and lengthen through the center line. You switch your grip and tip over to your right for a side bend. That length reach along your left side body this time. And then breathe in and up through center, Urdhva Hastasana. On your exhale, forward fold. Slowly hinge down to the earth. And find a half lift at the bottom. Breathe in to lengthen out. With your exhale, plant your hands and step your feet back into your high plank pose. And we're going to be here for a couple cycles of breath in this first round. So decide if you'd like to have your knees up or if you prefer to place your knees down to the earth for a little extra support. And just start to feel your breath again. Think, breathe into the back of your body. And your exhale, feel your front body pull in, navel to spine. And two more like that. Inhale, breathe into the back of your body. And exhale, pull your front body in and push the earth away. And one more time, deep breath in. And exhale out. Good. This time we're going to inhale, shift forward. And then exhale, lower all the way to the earth. Pull your elbows straight back as you lower down to the ground. Okay, untuck your toes at the bottom. Press your toenails into your yoga mat. And inhale to a low cobra. So think about lifting the back of your heart. But at the same time as you reach your sternum forward, can you pull your elbows back? And go ahead and exhale to release. And inhale to your low cobra, lift the back of your heart space. This time, option to hover your hands. Maybe that engagement between your shoulder blades as you lift and lengthen. And then exhale to release. And our last round here is going to be Gecko Pose. So take your fingertips off the outside edges of your yoga mat. So you have this wide stance. And you're up on your finger pads. Elbows stacked over your wrists. Go ahead and inhale to lift through your heart space. Any amount. On your exhale, dip your right shoulder to the midline and look over to the left. Shoulders slide out of your ears as you go. And then breathe in and up through your center. Lift your heart. And find your second side. Dip your left shoulder and look over to the right. Good. Inhale will lift you back through your midline. Take your time. And on this exhale, pull your heart forward as you lower. Bring your hands by your low ribs. Find upward facing dog. So lengthen your arms, lift your thighs off the earth. And then downward facing dog, slow motion, pike your hips up and back. Okay, so we'll take two more sun A variations like that. With your in-breath, lift your heels up high. As you exhale, bend your knees and then step or hop to the top, forward fold. Okay, you'll find a halfway lift on your in-breath. Begin to lengthen and strengthen. And go ahead and exhale, forward fold, release. And rise all the way to standard Urdhva Hastasana, full breath in. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and pull over to the right side first this time. And inhale, lift tall through your center and switch sides, tip over to the left. And we'll inhale up through the center line and your exhale, forward fold, slow and steady. And half lift Ardha Uttanasana, deep breath in. And find your high plank pose again as you exhale out. And this time we're going to inhale, hover your knees and reach your hips towards your heels like a little crouch. On your exhale, you're going to find a wave, so like a cat spine. You're going to roll forward, round your upper back to the sky. You're going to plank pose. Now we'll take that two more times. So bend your knees like hovering tabletop on your inhale. On your exhale, think cat spine, roll forward like a wave to high plank. One more time, inhale, bend your knees, hips to heels, get really low, feel your thighs light up, your core engage, your shoulders engage. And then roll forward like a wave to high plank. This time from your high plank, shift to your tippy toes with your breath in. Chaturanga, lower halfway or all the way with exhale. Open your heart up, dog or cobra. And downward facing dog as you breathe out. And one more round here. Inhale to lift your heels. Exhale, bend your knees and journey to the top of your yoga mat. And you follow your inhale to lift up halfway. Feel that extension from crown to tail. And exhale to release, forward fold. You'll rise to stand, reach up tall to the ceiling with your in-breath. Left hand grab the right wrist, tip over to the left as you breathe out. On your inhale, lift through center. Switch your grip and lean over to the right this time. And breathe in and up through center. When you're ready, forward fold, dive to the earth. In halfway lift, extend. In high plank pose, step back. Just one time, option to inhale, bend your knees, reach your hips to your heels. Crouch low. On your exhale, like a wave, roll forward through chaturanga and all the way to downward facing dog. That spinal wave forward through your chaturanga and hips find the sky, downward facing dog. We're going to shift gears a little bit now and start to build our flow. So on your next breath in, send your right leg to the ceiling. And with your exhale, bend your heel towards your seat without opening your hips. So think like a scorpion tail, but keep your hips square. Take a full inhale here. On your exhale, bring your knee to your nose, curl in tight. A three-legged dog, inhale your right leg to the sky. Same thing, bend that scorpion tail, hips stay square, pull your right heel in like a hamstring curl. Then bring your knee to your nose with breath out. And one more time, inhale, reach your right leg back. Hamstring curl. And exhale, knee to nose. This time we're gonna step our right foot all the way forward to the top of our yoga mat. Maybe help it there. And cow lunge, let your left knee come to a hover and pull your heart forward and through. As you find your next exhale, begin to lengthen your legs to your cat lunge. Feel your hamstrings open up. Okay, one more time, bend both of your knees, cow lunge, left knee hovers. And this time on your exhale, push through your right foot. You're going to a gentle standing splits. Use your in-breath to scoop your left toes up to the sky. So maybe keep some softness to your right knee, a little bit or a lot. Let your head fall heavy. You're just here for one more breath in. And we'll step into our chair pose. So place your left foot down to the earth. Get low through your seat. And then drive down into your heels to lift your heart in your hands. And feel this extension that's happening from your fingertips to your sitting bones. And feel them balance each other out. So as your sits bones reach back and your fingertips reach forward, you create all this extension through your spine. And it helps you stay steady. Take one more breath in. And exhale, airplane your arms beside you. Okay, tip your weight over to your left foot. Come to your right tippy toe. And once you have a little bit of stability, flamingo your right heel to your seat. We'll keep everything the same in your torso, but scooch your right knee back in space more like a donkey kick. That same hamstring curl action. Make sure the effort is in your core and your right hamstring. Your low back feels healthy. And from here, then slowly step back into a crescent lunge. Place your right toes to the back of your yoga mat. Push your feet, lift your heart in your hands. With your exhale, go ahead and goddess your elbows wide, open your heart. Breathe in, reach to the ceiling. On your exhale, bring your hands down to the earth, bring your left foot. A left leg lifts to the sky, three-legged dog, take a big breath in. Bend your heel to your seat as you exhale. So again, hips stay square, think hamstring curl. It might feel a little bit like even frustrating in the body because we really want to open the hip, but try not to as you inhale. Knee to nose with your exhale. Shift forward, shift forward, shift forward. Take that 2 more times. So three-legged dog. Okay, bend your heels to your seat and the hamstring curl. On your exhale, knee to nose. Pull your thigh into your heart with your core. One more time. Inhale, lengthen. Hamstring curl. And exhale, knee to nose. This time, step your left foot forward. As your left foot arrives, cow lunge, right knee's gonna dip low, pull your heart forward and through. That's it. On your exhale, cat lunge, find the extension through both of your legs. Again, to your cow lunge, breathe in as you hover your right knee and reach through your heart. Then standing splits, push through your left foot. Use the power of your left leg to lift your right toes to the sky. Okay, relax your head, give yourself a moment here. And then we'll step together into Utkatasana, chair pose. Arrive your right foot to the earth. Settle into your seat. And that strong lift through your heart in your hands. And then as you find your chair pose, think about your heels pushing down into the earth and forward even to encourage your sits bones back. And you spread your sitting bones wide, but hug an imaginary yoga block between your inner upper thighs. But then press out against an imaginary resistance band around your lower thighs. So we have this hugging in and extending out that balances. Airplane your arms beside you. And lean your weight to your right foot so you can come to your left tippy toe. As you light up your center, flamingo your left heel to your seat. And then keep everything the same, just slide your left knee back in space. Keep your left heel close to your seat so that hamstring action engages again. Heart is still open and proud. Go ahead and step back into your crescent lunge. Left toes land. Lift your heart in your hands. Okay, elbows wide, goddess, your arms open through the front line. And then breathe in, reach to the sky. Okay, hands down to the earth, frame your right foot on your yoga mat. And then lift your right leg to the ceiling, three-legged dog, big breath in. Okay, this time as you bend your knee, you can allow your hip to open to that more familiar space. Try to let the openness come from the strength of your right glute as you lift your knee nice and high. Take a big breath in. Stay, or maybe wild thing option to step your right toes behind you on your exhale. Okay, micro bend your left elbow and open your heart to the sky. And then back to your three-legged dog, land your right hand and reach your right leg up. Take a big breath in. Hamstring curl your right heel to your seat, hips square. Bring your knee to your nose as you breathe out. Then keep your shoulders forward this time. One-legged plank, reach your right heel back as you inhale. Right. Stay here, hamstring curl your right heel to your seat on your exhale. Pause for your breath in again. Knee to nose as you breathe out. I know that's a lot. Push into your hands, step your right foot forward. It's a little bit trickier from that space, so go ahead and give it a boost if it needs it. Left knee hovers, cow lunge. Right, lengthen both of your legs to your cow lunge. Then inhale back to your cow lunge, left knee hovers. Now listen, we're gonna add on here. So left knee is hovering. Lift up to your fingertips and lift your heart a little bit. Then drive down through your right heel. So you're gonna bent knee crescent lunge. Left knee's hovered, bent knee crescent. Pull your front ribs in. So get this deep stretch to the front of your left hip and lean your shoulders back. Grab your left wrist with your right hand and lean over to your right for a side body stretch. Navel to spine. You don't have to lean very far, probably tailbone is heavy. Then inhale up through your center. On your exhale, airplane lunge. So hinge your heart forward. Reach your fingertips back as you lengthen your left leg. Tip your weight into your right foot. We're going to standing split, so you can use your hands to help you, or not. You're gonna lift your left toes to the sky. So maybe you're really light in your fingertips here. Take a big breath in. Then find your chair pose again with exhale. Okay, settle into your seat. Breathe in to lift. Good, airplane your arms beside you. And then flamingo your right heel to your seat. Okay, navel pulls in. Donkey kick your right heel back. So right knee's gonna scooch back, keep your navel point to your spine, focus your gaze so you find stability. Keep the hamstring curl action, but lift the rest of your body into like a one-legged Tadasana. So heart and hands lift up, we keep the hamstring curl. Take a full breath in. On your exhale, airplane pose. As you send your wings back beside you and lengthen your right leg, keep some of that energy through your right hamstring to keep your right leg really active and lifted. Take an inhale here. Crescent lunge as you exhale, right toe step back, lift your heart and your hands, big breath in. Elbows wide, goddess arms as you exhale. And fingertips to the sky on your in-breath. And hands to the earth on your out-breath. And extend your left leg to the ceiling, three-legged dog, full breath in. This time, bend your knee, open your hip. Navel to spine, left seat lifts your left knee high. Relax the weight of your skull. Stay or step into your wild thing. Place your left toes behind you, super light. And feel your shoulder blades help to lift and open your heart. When you return to your three-legged dog, zip up through your front body, support with your core. Make buoyancy at your hips as you breathe your left leg to the sky. Good, hips stay squared. Hamstring curl your left heel to your seat. Take your breath in. Bring your left knee to your nose, breath out. One-legged plank, shoulders stay over your wrist, reach your left heel back. Stay, hamstring curl your left heel to your seat. Strong right quad, navel to spine, pause for your inhale. Bring your left knee to your nose as you exhale. Three-legged dog, just push the earth away and step your left foot forward. And that trickier transition, right knee's gonna hover for your cow lunge. Create as much space between your right knee and your heart as you can. And then lengthen to your cat lunge. Untuck your tailbone to the sky. Think cow spine, but long legs almost. One more time, bend both your knees, right knee's coming to a hover. And then lift your heart up a couple inches first, just get really proud. Yeah, that's it, you're on your fingertips, maybe push through your left heel into your bent knee crescent. The nice thing about this big bent knee crescent, the earth is right there if you want to release your right knee down. So feel free to let your right knee drop if that feels best for your body. Otherwise, pull your front body in, lean your shoulders back. Get that deep stretch to the front of your right hip. Reaching to the sky, left hand will grab right wrist, tip over to the left for a side bend. The more you can keep your front wrist contained, the deeper the stretch you'll get. Take your elbows back in space a little bit. Inhale up through your center. An airplane lunge, hinge your heart forward. Lengthen through your right leg, push through the ball end of your right foot. Standing splits, use your left leg to pull yourself into standing splits, then hamstring strength. Head drops heavy to get inhale. A chair pose is our exhale, settle into your seat again. Breathe to lift. An airplane, your arms beside you. And then flamingo, your left heel to your feet. And navel pulls in as you scooch your left knee back. Keep your left heel really close. And tailbone reaches away. Keep the hamstring curl, rise up to your one-legged Tadasana. Okay, so kind of like dancer's pose. Without the bind, take a big breath in. Airplane pose, slow motion, send it back. Again, that engagement to the back of the left leg, super key. And where we're headed, take a breath in. Okay, place your left toes down, crescent lunge. How slow can you go? Inhale to expand up. And exhale to expand, open goddess, your elbows wide. Reach your fingers to the ceiling with your breath in. Bring your hands to the earth as you breathe out. Step back into a high plank pose. On your inhale, option to bend your knees to a hover, reach your hips way back towards your heels. On your exhale, roll forward like a wave through your chaturanga. And go ahead and find child's pose for a second. Let your hips sink back to your heels as your knees arrive to the earth. Okay. If you'd like to grab a little sip of water, now's a really good chance to grab a sip of water. I want to talk about the transition that we're headed towards, and kind of how the elements of what we've been doing bring us to this point and support us while we're in it. So I'll talk about the transition while I show it to you. At the top of our yoga mat, we're going to return to this flamingo action. The hamstring engagement, really an element of our dancer's pose. So once we have the donkey kick, we'll rise up again. Okay, this time, it's kind of hard to see on my screen. We're going to do a side bend, curtsy lunge. So my left hand is going to grab my right wrist overhead and pulling over to the left. I'm going to step into this curtsy lunge. So the side bend action, the curtsy action. This is to create a connection not only to the length of our torso, but to the inner thigh engagement, or this hugging to center. So as you square your hips to the top of your yoga mat, imagine you have like a yoga block in between your thighs that you're squeezing into. From here, we're going to our dancer's pose setup. So as you tip your weight slowly to your front foot, keep the hug of the inner thighs. You're going to take, in this case, right hand to right foot. Good. Shoulder blades draw together, heart is open. I'm going to find upward energy through my sternum as I kick back into my hand and up. So this tension between my hand and my foot is what helps me so I don't topple over. So you want to find a really strong tension connection there. Lift everything up first, and then maybe tip forward. Right, this upward kick comes from the space in the front of the right hip that we've been working on. This downward tip comes from hamstring space. So sometimes if you feel like your dancer's pose is a little bit locked up, it's not just a heart opening, right? It's a hip opening, a hamstring opening, and a standing balance. From here, that hamstring engagement we've been working on is going to help us so we don't slingshot. So I'm going to line up the back of my lifted right leg, and then slow motion release either into airplane pose again, or if you want to, you can reach to warrior 3. We'll step back and continue on, okay? So we have the side body space to create more length through our spine. The more length we have, the more we have room to lean back as well. So we lengthen in order to lean back and stay out of our lumbar spine. And our hamstring engagement is to help with all that upward energy and help to strengthen the back of the body, because as we engage the back of the body, that helps to open the front. So we're going to start in downward facing dog. This is our last layer of flow, and then we'll bring it to the earth. Do a couple more heart opening shapes before settling in for Shavasana. So as you make your way to downward facing dog, take a couple of moments to steady your breath. Okay, to steady out that full inhale and really mindful exhale. And as your breath deepens and smooths, take an inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. Please lift your right leg to the sky when you're ready. Big breath in. Then bend your knee and open your hip with exhale. Option to find wild thing again. You place your right toes behind you. And take a full breath in as you open at the sky. With your out breath, we're all going to go knee to nose. So right away, right hand to the earth. Bring your right knee to your nose. Good. One-legged plank, shoulders stay forward. Reach your right leg straight back in line with your spine. Big breath in. Keep the plank, navel to spine, hamstring, curl your right heel to your seat as you breathe out. Push through your hands to pull your front ribs in. Hug your right heel a little bit closer to your glute. Then bring your knee to your nose and step your right foot forward to the top of your yoga mat. Dip your left knee to your cow lunge, hover, heart opens. Again, lengthen both your legs to your cow lunge, that hamstring space that we need for our dancer's pose. Bend both your knees again into your cow lunge. Press to your right heel, lift your head a couple inches first. Bent knee crescent, your left knee's hovering off the earth unless you prefer your left knee on the ground. Lift up top. And the more you can zip up through the front line, the deeper the stretch we get in the front of the hip. Take a big breath in. Find your airplane lunge again, so heart forward, fingertips back. Tip your weight to your right foot. We're going to chair pose. Really take your time in this. So you can either lean forward, slide your left toes to the top, or take a big step to your chair pose. It's a big transition. Lift your heart in your hands. And then exhale, airplane your arms. So that transition is lift up your right hamstring, which we're going to use again here. Flamingo your right foot to your seat. Keep your navel pulled in and that donkey kick action back in space. Rise up to your hamstring curl, one-legged Tadasana like we've done before. Use your left hand to grab your right wrist. And then start to step your right toe behind you for a curtsy lunge. Side bend to your left. Right knees to the earth. Front knees pull in. With your hips move just square to the top of your yoga mat. Squeeze your inner thighs. Good. Using this link to the right side. Using this inner thigh connection. Tip your weight forward to your left foot really slow. Dancer's pose, right hand to right foot. Just start with the setup. So right hand to right foot, create that connection first. Hug your inner thighs to center again, shoulder blades draw together. Lift your sternum and kick your right foot into your right hand. Once you kick back, also kick up. And that upward energy is going to be the tension that helps you so you don't fall out. Keep all the upward energy, maybe tip forward just a little bit, maybe a lot. Again, that tip forward is your hamstring space. Active feel, right hamstring, slow motion release. Airplane pose or warrior three. We'll step back, slow motion into our crescent lunge, right toes are right. Full inhale, lift your heart in your hands. And then warrior two on your exhale. Okay, so first warrior two at the end of our practice. Go ahead and settle into your depth. Take an inhale to reverse, left hand's gonna reach out to the sky. And exhale, side angle, creating length through our spine still with our side body opening. Go ahead and just stack up tall to warrior two again. Breathe in, reach both hands to the sky, keep a lunge through your left leg. And your exhale, goddess, your elbows wide. Let your hands flutter in and release behind you. Take your right thumb on top of your left. Then rest your hands on your sacrum. Keep your front knees pulled in, but draw your elbows together so that stretch really concentrates across your collarbones, your chest. From there, maybe dive down to a humble warrior. And on the inside of your left thigh, you can lengthen your arms if you want to. Recommit to the strong lunge. Pull your shoulders away from your ears and take a breath here. Root through your feet, slow motion, no momentum. Root to rise back into your warrior two. Push, push, push. At the top as you spread your weights. Reverse your triangle, big breath in. On your exhale, Vinyasa or down dog. If you wanted to add in that crouch and spinal wave, feel free to bend your knees, reach your hips to your heels, and then roll forward if you want to. We'll meet in downward facing dog when you're ready. Just give yourself a moment to pause before we go into our second side. Okay, this last layer of flow before we are bringing it down. Just listening for your next breath in. Let your inhale lift your left leg to the sky. Exhale, bend your knee and open your hip. Stay or wild thing, left toes might land behind you. Find the openness across your heart with a big breath in. Right, zipping up through your core, knee to nose on your exhale, left leg comes into your heart. Keep the push in of your hands into the earth. One-legged plank, we reach our left leg back as we breathe in. Right, pull your front ribs way up. Flamingo, rather, donkey, kick your left toe to your seat, that hamstring curl. Take your in-breath, right quad is strong. Knee towards your nose on your out-breath. Land your left foot forward, maybe help it there. Right knee hovers, cow lunge, we catch our breath. And exhale guides you to your cat lunge, find the extension of your legs. And again, cow lunge, preparing for your bent knee crescent. Right knee hovers. Lift your heart a little bit and then push through your left heel. Through your left leg and glute helps to lift you to your bent knee crescent. And the intention of this is to create space to the front of the hips. Pull in through your front line, big breath. And your airplane lunge, hinge forward. Using your left hamstring and glute, chair pose. So again, lean forward, that big step, or slide your right toes along the earth. Okay, find the length first on your breath. Then airplane your arms beside you. Our left hamstring is going to be the curl one, this time the active one. Hug your left toe to your seat. At the same rate that you pull your navel to your spine, squeeze your left knee back in space, left heel's hugging in. Good hamstring curl, one-legged Tapasana. Keep that engagement, just rise up with your heart. Right hand grabs the left wrist. Step your left toes over towards the right for your curtsy, and then pull for the side bend. Breathe in here. Okay, start to find that connection. Can you feel the center column of your body? And keep that connection to the center column of your body as you tip your weight to your right foot. Slowly, left hand catches left foot for dancer's pose. Really take your time, just half an inch by half an inch. Okay, lift up. Hug in through your thighs, through your shoulder blades. Create the tension as you kick back. Think your left toes and your heart are both going up to the sky. At the same rate that you kick up, maybe you start to tip forward for your dancer's pose. Maybe you fall over. Keep breathing wherever you're at. One side might feel really different than the other. You choose airplane or warrior three. Try to find that really slow motion. Release and reach as you inhale. Now we're going to our crescent lunge. Place your left toes down. Full breath in, reach high. Warrior two, open to the left. Here's our last little bit of standing effort. Reverse your warrior on your inhale. Right hand scoops up. Side angle on your exhale, left hand reaches tall. Warrior two, we stack up through our spine. Stay in the lunge as you reach both hands to the ceiling with your breath in. Elbows wide, goddess arms as you breathe out. Hands fall to interlace, left thumb's going on top. And start out with your front nose pulling in, your elbows drawing together. So we get that really concentrated chest opening. It's almost like you're pushing your hands, that bind that you have into your sacrum when you're reaching your elbows back to the wall behind you and then to the midline. Stay here, or humble warrior, dive down, option to lengthen your arms as well. As you bend into your right knee, you're wrapping your right sitting bone underneath your body here. Head falls heavy, shoulders pull away from ears. Give yourself one cycle of breath. As you push through your feet, again, no momentum. Press down into your feet rather than pulling from anything else. Push through the feet, rise up, warrior two. Slow and strong. I know that right leg has worked so hard. Reverse your triangle, find that extension. And then low lunge, windmill down. You're stepping back to your chaturanga of choice. You can also just go straight to downward facing dog. You can take that crouch and spinal wave action. Then eventually go ahead and meet in a seat. Hips to heels. Hands can be on your lap or at heart, and just close your eyes for a couple breaths after you've completed your transition. And we're going to take one last shape before we lower down to the back body, and it's basically just Shavasana from there. We'll take a final twist. You have the opportunity for an inversion, but it'll be a pretty quick Shavasana because we're running out of time. But we're going to move into a variation of Camel Pose. So if it feels okay, rise up and tuck your toes underneath. So you're seated, toes tucked to the earth. If you prefer just to be here working the openness of your feet, maybe hands at heart, opening your heart this way, or even finding the setup of hands by your low back, that containment of the front ribs as you pull your elbows back and together, that's an option. Otherwise, this approach to Camel Pose is one that I experienced for the first time recently. And I'm going to take your hands to your heels. Take a big breath in, and when you're ready, you're going to push down your shins and send your pelvis forward. And again, if your body is like, I'm not ready to be there, if you don't want to be here, you'd rather just be in a seat and opening your heart, please go to what feels right for your body. But that approach of hands to heels first and then sending hips forward, at least for my own anatomy, felt really good. So I wanted to share that with you. If you want to let your head lean back and you're in Camel Pose, feel free to do so. Take 2 more breaths wherever you are. Think about rooting down through your shin bones. And then really slow motion to transition out. Engage your belly a lot. Hands are going to come to your heart space. Bring your hips to your heels first. Head is last to lift. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And then clearing exhale to let it go. And from here, once you are ready, just go ahead and bring your legs out in front of you. Scooch the top of your yoga mat. And we'll use our core to lower us down. And so heel anchors, root into the earth, flex your feet. Reach up high with a big breath in. And then press down with your heels, using the strength of your belly to slowly descend you all the way to the back of your body. Also helping to balance out any extra effort that the low back was trying to exert in your back bends. Take a full body stretch as you breathe in. Knees to chest on your breath out. Breathe deeply into your low back. And then drop your knees over to the left with your exhale. Take a really full inhale to the back of your body here. And let that breath go. Then take your knees over to the right. And just one deep breath into the back body as your knees go to the right. And one slow exhale. And this time when you bring your knees back to center, you can go directly into Shavasana, or if you'd like to take one final inversion, maybe legs to the sky, or plow pose, or shoulder stand, giving yourself 3 cycles of breath before we all meet eventually in Shavasana. I said, we're all meeting in Shavasana eventually. So if you are in an inversion or you're exploring something else that your body called you to, give yourself at least 3 cycles of breath. And then just really mindfully, gently find your way out when you feel complete. Take anything else you might need before resting into your final relaxation. And as you drop into the earth, maybe your eyes drop close too, and you just find a soft gaze. So you can turn all of your focus inward again. Inward to your heart. Just tuning back into this space within your body. Also the emotional, energetic, a component of this space. Asking ourselves, right, how does my heart feel in this moment? And as you rest for these last few minutes of your practice, you can stay present with that question. How does my heart feel in this moment? Giving yourself the time and space to check in and to be really clear in that processing. Or maybe you turn your focus to your breath, allowing your breath to be the anchor of your awareness. Perhaps you just allow yourself to drop in, to let go, to be in your body as you are. If you would like to stay longer, because this is a little bit of a shorter Shavasana than we usually take, and feel free just to continue to rest. And heavy and supported by the earth. It's continuing to be held. No need to move, no need to reawaken just yet. You are ready to bring some energy and movement back into your body though. Feel free to start in whatever way feels natural for you. So that could be your fingers and your toes. It could be taking your head side to side. Maybe it's a full body stretch on a breath in. Just following that natural inclination of your body. Either bring your hands to your heart when you're ready, or make your way up to a seat first and then arrive your hands at the center of your chest. And the way that you end practice is really just however feels most connective and true for you this morning. So we take this final pause together to acknowledge the time and the intention that you devoted to your practice. We also acknowledge the energy that we shared virtually with each other to support each other through this flow and to offer to each other as we continue on into our Tuesdays. And last but not least, we pause to honor the ancient roots of this practice, a practice that continues to serve and support us today. So draw one more deep breath in through your nose all the way to the top. When we're clearing, exhale to release, let it out. Yoga offers us a path to compassion. And may our practices serve as our own individual teachers and guides. I thank you so, so much for moving and breathing with me this morning, with each other this morning, this community. Namaste.